friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and God2, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Donny Osmond's wife stood by his side through thick and thin, even when he lost millions. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Adam Staten. Donny Osmond's wife stood by his side through thick and thin, even when he lost millions. We've watched Donny and his wife Debbie share their relationship with the world for the last 44 years. Yes, that's how long this lovely couple has been married. From our living rooms, their relationship looks easy, perfect, and romantic, but it wasn't always roses and romance. At the height of his career, the world swooned over this handsome, talented, and seemingly unattached young man, but the world didn't know he had given his heart to a cheerleader. Donny fell in love with Debbie at the age of 16. There was something simple about her, and I lived a very complicated life, he said. Donny Osmond wanted to make Debbie his wife, but he feared he would lose his career if he made the announcement, so the two kept their relationship a secret. I remember being chased a lot, mostly in England, he said. It was Osmond mania over there. Once we had to hide under a table in a restaurant because there were so many screaming fans rushing after us. Yet Donny knew he could no longer live his life without her. He'd found the one whom his soul loved. Knowing everything was at stake, he made Debbie his wife anyway. Suddenly, the mobs of fans stopped, and his music career came to a screaming halt. Not only did his fame disappear, so did his fortune. Financially, he was completely broke. Debbie didn't care. She married him because she loved him as a person and as a partner. In her eyes, fame and fortune could go, but their love would always be there. Donny Osmond's wife became his rock. Eventually, Donny was cast for the role of Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, but he was terrified it would be another flop. Debbie, however, did something no one else could do. She built up his courage and poured out her love for him with this advice. Debbie said, "Why don't you go out there and do an average show?" It ended up being the best show I ever did because I gave myself an opportunity to make a mistake. Thanks to his wife, Donny Osmond's performance put his career back on track. Isn't that so like God? He puts people in our lives to pour into us, to love and support us, bringing out the best in us. What a blessed marriage and beautiful story that reminds us it isn't fame and fortune, but love that conquers all. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. 1 Corinthians 13:7.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
Have you ever found yourself in a moment with your loved ones where you were there, but you weren't all there?
Let's be honest, we've all given our leftovers to our biggest fans instead of our best.
For Dr. Josh and Christy Straub, marriage and leadership coaches and host of the Famous at Home podcast.
With a realistic, grace-filled look at the struggles families face, we cover topics designed to help you become a rock star under your roof, set healthy rhythms between work and home, and build a rock-solid marriage.
Because the greatest red carpet you'll ever walk is through your front door.
They asked sports reporter Mark Woodley to cover weather in a blizzard with hilarious results. Written by Adam Staten, read by Adam Staten. For sports reporter Mark Woodley, weather reports are not his usual job. So when he was tasked with covering a blizzard, his brutal honesty made for some good laughs. Winter can be a dangerous and hazardous time of year. Snow and ice can make travel hazardous, resulting in crashes, injuries, and in some cases even death. Apparently, wintry weather can also lead to sports reporters being a tad cranky. Mark Woodley, a sports anchor reporter for KWWL in Waterloo, Iowa, was asked to do something outside the normal duties of his job. Go outside and cover wintry weather. To say he was honest in reporting would be a massive understatement. Mark gave very frank and blunt remarks during his live hits when the anchor sitting behind a desk in a heated studio would ask him about conditions outside. The hilarious clip begins with an anchor asking, "Mark, how you feeling out there?" Mark, who is clearly perturbed about his assignment, responds with an openness not normally seen from a television reporter. Again, the same way I felt about 8 minutes ago when he asked me that same question, he said. Some other absolutely hilarious and candid moments from Mark's weather reports include, "I normally do sports. Everything is canceled here for the next couple of days, so what better time to ask a sports guy to come in about 5 hours normally, earlier than he would normally wake up, go stand out in the wind, in the snow, in the cold, and tell other people not to do the same thing," he said. Mark does not attempt to hide his disgust at being forced to cover the weather outside. At the clip's 45-second mark, Mark says, "It's absolutely fantastic, Ryan. I'm used to these evening shows that are only 30 minutes long, and generally on those shows I'm inside. So this is a really long show. Tune in for the next couple hours to watch me progressively get crankier and crankier." Toward the end of the clip, Mark Woodley flat out asks if he can go back to his regular duties and leave the weather reporting to others. The clip responds with Mark signing off by saying, "Live in Waterloo for the last time this morning, thankfully. I'm Mark Woodley, News 7 KWWL." The minute-and-a-half clip posted by Mark has been viewed nearly 8 million times. Psalms 30:11. "You have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have put off my sackcloth and girded me with gladness."
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.